Hi everyone, this is Jim. Welcome to this Blitz chess postmortem of my Blitz game number 253. I was black here. My opponent kicked off with d4, and I went for the Nimzo-Indian with knight f6. So my opponent plays in such a way as to allow the Nimzo with knight c3. To avoid it, you can always play knight f3 and bishop b4. And now he plays an unusual move, bishop d2. So if we take a look at the top choices, there's e3, the Rubinstein variation that I often play, queen c2, the classical variation played a lot at the top levels, knight f3, the Kasparov line that he favored, and f3, which has been it's seen a resurgence in popularity recently. I think it was played in the candidates matches. So those are your top choices here: f3, knight f3, e3, or queen c2. So all good moves, but bishop d2 is a playable move as well. And I went ahead and castled here, so I guess that's okay. And then he played a3. So maybe a3 is a bit of a mistake because I could equalize here by taking, but it's always a tough decision. But if you look at this position, bishop takes, and now it's Black's turn to move. He's got one piece developed. He's already castled, and he gets to have another move here to help develop his pieces, whereas White only has one piece developed and hasn't castled yet, and it's a couple moves away from it. So I've given up the bishop pair, which is a little bit of a long-term advantage that I've given up, but I have an advantage in development. So it's always a question of whether you can use that advantage in some way. So after b6, e3, and bishop b7. I guess it looks pretty good for Black. He's got control of this diagonal. And knight f3 or f3 could be played by White. And the game goes on. So I've given up the bishop pair, but I still have this lead in development. Looks like it'll persist for a while. Not any immediate attacking ideas or anything. But let's go back to the game. I retreated the bishop. I played bishop back to e7, trying to hold on to the bishop pair. And then he immediately played this move, e4. No, cancel that. He didn't. What did he play here? Let's take a look at it. Maybe we're out of the opening book here. Yeah, he played the move e4. Okay. Anyway, yeah, we're out of the opening book at this point. And I countered with d5, which is an improved move. You don't want to just give up the center. But here, I guess, is where my mistake is. After e5, if I want to keep this equality that I've managed to achieve, I need to play knight e4. And it's kind of an example of like maybe a typical mistake that I make. I've noticed in watching the games of stronger players that they will be willing to put a piece up on an outpost in enemy territory and go to great lengths to keep it there. And I always find that difficult to do. You know, it's once the knight is here, you know, it's subject to attack. CD or knight takes e4. I mean, if he takes it immediately, you have to take back with a pawn. So you've got this funny pawn here, which may be hard to support. But on the other hand, it does exert influence on your opponent's space. So obviously, it's worth the trade-off, at least according to the computer evaluation. So that's probably the better way to play. I played a retreating move, and after that, it seems that White gets the advantage. And not only that, he keeps the advantage through the rest of the game. So I think this is a good game to watch from the point of view of White's moves here, how he keeps the advantage. I mean, he's not always playing the top choice of the engine, but he plays moves that keep an advantage, right? So he plays f4 here, holding on to his center. I try to undermine it with f6, and then he plays a developing move, knight f3, also reinforcing the center. Very logical play. I exchange to try and open up some lines. Took back with the d-pawn. Cancel that. He took back with the d-pawn. Sorry, I said the right thing and moved the wrong pawn. Okay, and then I pushed on with d4 here. Maybe... yeah, no, that's a move too. I thought it was a little bit interesting, try and discoordinate his pieces a bit. Knight e2. And then c5 to hold on to this pawn and try and get some space for my pieces. I thought, well, now I've got this square secured for my knight. So white played knight to c1, rerouting this knight. I thought this was a funny move, but you see it's still keeping some edge for white here. I go g6, trying to hold back pawns on the king's side. Goes bishop d3. And I go knight g7, trying to get my knight into f4. He castles. Queen c7. Oh, knight c6, sorry. Knight c6 first. I was looking ahead the wrong the wrong line, I guess. Knight c6. Yeah, just need to get my pieces developed. I still have this problem with the light squared bishop. It's just hitting on my own pieces. And this pawn may become a weakness. You'll see that white manages to find a way to target it later. So knight back to e2 was played here. Let's take a look at that. The knight went to c1 and then to e2. Okay, so that's an interesting maneuver. I hadn't noticed that during the game. The knight went to c1 to allow the bishop to come to d6, and then it went back to e2. And ordinarily you might think that's a waste of time, but he's just rearranged his pieces in a reasonable way here. So I play a6, trying to build up to b5, get something going on the queen side. He goes queen c2, queen e8 to reinforce the g6 square, and also to support the knight after I push b5. I don't want it subject to a discovered attack from the queen here, or exposed to an attack from the queen if this pawn disappears. Okay, knight g3, just bringing his pieces in. Also, maybe discouraging me from playing knight c4 there, knight f5 rather. Although the engine thinks knight f5 is one idea here. Okay, I go rook b8, continuing with my queenside plan. Knight e4, just bringing his pieces towards the king. And now I get in b5. And instead of taking here, yeah, okay, so b5 maybe was where I really start going downhill. At this point, we're still in the range of maybe a slightly better than usual opening advantage for white. But after b5, I'm in trouble. And it thinks, the engine thinks he could just go ahead and take here. So let's take a look at this. CB, AB, and knight f6 check. So I was worried he could come into f6. I was planning to just take it. He takes f6. And then grab the pawn here. And then he's got queen takes c5. Yeah, so this c5 pawn was loose. And it looks like my position is starting to fall apart here. Knight f5. And bishop takes b5. Yeah, so this b5 move was just weakening. And he's got a nice pin on my knight here, and I'm in big trouble. Okay. So fortunately for me, he didn't take there. He just supported it with b3. Again, keeping some advantage, but maybe not the strongest move there. So I take, and to resolve the tension there and open up a line for my rook, he took back with the bishop, and I go bishop b7. Also gives a square for my bishop. I was just having trouble finding places to put my pieces. So he continues with knight f to g5, attacking on d6 there, e6 rather. So I retreat once again and defend it. Rook a to e1. So yeah, you'll notice through all this game, I mean, there are a couple times when white, there were a couple times when white had stronger moves he could have played, but he played reasonable moves every time and never made a mistake here, so I never had a chance or a tactic that I could use against him. I kick the knight off with h6. It goes back to f3, but this has weakened my king side a bit, and now he can exploit that. I go to h7 to defend these pawns. He goes to d3 with his queen. Knight f5. Maybe thinking of jumping into this square. He immediately punches with g4, and I decide after g4 maybe my knight is better over here. So he trades, and I take, and yeah, once again you see white has maintained his significant advantage. It's probably a winning advantage with good play. So white plays rook e2, and I just retreat my bishop back. I didn't want it getting stranded out there. And then h4, just launching this attack. And I thought I could take that pawn, but this turned out to be too dangerous. What's the engine recommending? Bishop d5. Yeah, I didn't like bishop d5. I thought about this move. So bishop d5, he takes, I take, and now he's got two pawns that are coming in towards my king with the rooks behind him, or coming down the center. This looks pretty dangerous. Knight f6 check, bishop takes, e takes is an idea, or just knight d6. And getting the knight off the e-file there opens up the line for his rook onto my queen if I exchange off the knight. So pretty dangerous. Yeah, knight d6 it looks like is the better move. And if I take it, he takes, and then I've got to move my queen. Queen b5. And the engine is recommending exchanging or maybe throwing in rook e7 check. Yeah, this is looking like a pretty strong attack for white. So even so I went ahead and well, I took the knight first. Let's see, if I take here right away, yeah, I just didn't want to have to worry about the knight dropping into these squares. So I took the knight, queen takes, and then I took the pawn over here. And now after that, starting with the move rook h2, which he played, he's got just a winning attack. You'll see the score has now gone up to into the range of completely hopeless. So takes a while to convert this attack, but he just has open lines against my king. His rooks and his bishops are all in good position, poised to jump into the attack. So I retreat my bishop once again, and he pushes forward with f5. Best move. I take, and then he takes here. Yeah, that was what I missed. One idea I missed was that when he pushed this pawn forward, it opened up the diagonal for the bishop so that he can grab my h-pawn with check. So, and then he takes the pawn. So that wasn't the most accurate move. He's actually got a mate in 4 here with rook h7 check. So let's check this out. These mates are always cute. So you just sacrifice the rook here. King takes, and then the queen goes to the h-file. A retreating move, but of course with the idea of attacking. And let's see, if the king goes to g7, then queen h6 is mate. Oh, because of this bishop. Yeah, this is a nice mating pattern. The bishop over here is cutting off the escape squares, and this bishop is supporting the queen. So, and if I go somewhere else, oh, I can throw in bishop h4 first, but then I get mated. So if we back up right here, yeah, so there's the knight sacrifice, the rook sacrifice to get the king on the h-file, so the queen comes in with tempo, and then the queen and the two bishops mate the king with the queen on h6 and the bishop cutting off the squares. So nice little mating pattern there. He played g takes f5, which is still completely winning. I took back with the rook, so he takes, I take, and now he comes in with the queen. Queen g2 check. Similar kind of idea, a retreating move with the queen. The rook is supported, chases me to this square, and then he mates me. So nice finish to a pretty well played game by white. Hope you guys enjoyed that. I will be back soon with more stuff. Leave any comments you have in the section below. Bye.